Shalom Mishpaka, and to the children of YaHUsHa scattered, excuse me, all over the surface of the earth. I say shalom to you. Welcome to our next exposition on the teachings of YaHUsHa and what he actually meant. Now remember that in the last video, the last point I raised was that men are naturally jealous of each other, and I explained that it is because they do not have the Ruach HaKodesh in them. And that is why that spirit of competition and jealousy comes in. They feel, oh, this person is going to do my mission, or oh, this person is going to do better than me. It doesn't make sense if you have the Ruach HaKodesh. Now, the next point now I'm raising now in this video is this. He said, when YaHUsHa said, let your light shine before them, he does not mean allow them into your space. Because I already read YaHUsHa in the last video, what he said in YaHUsHa, John chapter 2, verse 24. He says, but YaHUsHa was not entrusting himself to them because he knew all men and had no need that anyone should witness of man, for he knew what was in man. So YaHUsHa was saying, never trust them. Yeah, let your light shine, but never trust them. He made it very clear. Now, if you don't trust man, then how much more your enemies? And that's why I said, that is men, not his Nebiya, not his Nabi. That is not his prophets or his prophetess that have the Ruach HaKodesh in them. And you say, now how will I know which of his prophets or prophetess have the Ruach HaKodesh in them? YaHUsHa said, by their fruits you shall know them. Hallelujah. Now, the only person that have the right into your space is your soulmate, the one that Yahuwah has joined you with from the foundation of the world. Now, listen very carefully. It doesn't matter what you believe in. If your soulmate does not have the Ruach HaKodesh in him or her, you cannot let her or him into your space. And you will know, surely you will know, a soulmate or a spouse that's got the Ruach in him or her. Just like I say, he will not exhibit feelings of jealousy. He's not going to exhibit, what do they call, insecurity and all those things, or competition and things like that. He's not going to behave like a normal man would behave in a relationship, because he'll be operating on a higher level, on a higher plane. And then the soulmate also I'm referring to, according to the point I've listed here, is the one that Yahuwah has joined himself, not some Masonic pastor or priest. When I say Masonic pastor or priest, listen, the person that you stood at the altar and spoke those witchcraft vows with, it's not your soulmate. It's not Yahuwah that joined you. It was a human being that stood and officiated your wedding, not Yahuwah himself. That's what you should know. Because those vows, Yahuwah is not in those vows that have been conjured to curse you on your marriage. Yes, that is right. And that is why you see that all marriages, whereby they stand before the altar or go to the court to stand, have a lot of challenges. You fight a lot, you quarrel, you argue, you have to endure a lot of things. In fact, you're not experiencing the heaven, the Shamayim on earth that Yahuwah has ordained, has wanted, have always wanted for his children. Yes, as far as you did that, you see that your marriage is not perfect. It's not perfect. There is only one way to get married. And if Yahuwah allows me, I'm going to explain it. Explain the Adam and Eve kind of marriage that Yahuwah has ordained from the beginning of creation. That Yahuwah himself will officiate your wedding. You say, wow, how can Yahuwah himself officiate your wedding? Yes, it is possible. It is time and age. If you yield yourself to him and you start obeying the Torah, he will do it himself. He's the same yesterday. He has not changed. And I can testify to that. Now let's continue. Now I tabulated it. Now men in general, if you want to write down the points so that you don't forget, so that you can go through it, or you want to download the video, you can do that. Oh, and for the first time, I'll ask you to subscribe to the channel, so that when I do a new upload, because I don't have a specific time I normally upload, you can be notified of my uploads and you can follow the series of teachings. Now, number one, it says this: men can be easily manipulated by your enemies against you. And I wrote, it is very important to know the difference so that you can know how to act towards them. The way you will treat a man that has been manipulated against you by your enemies is different from the way you will treat your enemy that you know that wants to kill you. For example, this person, you know that this person, you've been in good relationship with the person, you've been like exchanging good deeds with each other, and suddenly the person does something wrong. And then maybe you got to find out, either the person told you, oh, I'm sorry, this person told me evil against you, I thought this and that's why I did this. Or the Ruach minister to you when you start getting angry with that person. That's no, it's not that person's fault. It's that person who is your enemy that caused this. Look at the pattern. Look at what happened. Can you see that? Now, if either of these things happen, you will understand. You'll be more understanding towards men. You'll be giving the men in general a benefit of doubt. Just like, what did they call it? You just give the person the benefit of doubt, saying, okay, I understand that this person does not know what he's doing, or did not know what he was doing at that point in time, or did not know the motive behind that person if telling him that thing. Do you understand? But for your enemies, that's your sworn enemies, and that are engineering and doing all sort of things, the way you're going to relate to them will be different and more direct, okay, and confrontational. Your enemies, let me tell you, they will not be, they can't sleep a day without doing something evil against you, either physically or spiritually. That's one characteristics of your enemies. Now let me go to the number 2 point. He said men change. Men can change their opinion about you based on how you behave towards them or see your good works. That's true. And that is why YaHUsHa was very clear saying, let your light shine before men. He didn't say let your light shine before your enemies. He didn't say let your light shine before the witches and wizards and marine agents. No. He said let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and then barak your Father, glorify your Father which is in the Shamayim. And now number 2 point is that your enemy, that's for the enemy part. Excuse me, I know I've mentioned it sometime. It doesn't matter what you do. Their opinion about you will never change. That's between your enemies. Now, look at another example. Let me give an example in the scriptures between men and enemies. Okay, look at it. Another example of men is the onlookers of looking at YaHUsHa when he was nailed at a stake. Okay, when he was nailed, and then the men look and say, oh, when they saw what happened, they were the ones that testified that this man is truly the Son of the Most High, the Son of Yahweh. It was men, not his enemies, that killed him. Not his enemies that planned, plotted, and killed him. It was only the men. Now, what happened now convinced them that what? He was the Son of Yahweh. But remember that these same men were used by his enemies to speak against him for him to be crucified. That's why I say, men can be manipulated against you by your enemies. But they are different from your enemies. Okay. Now look at the example now of enemies in the side of YaHUsHa. The scribes and the Pharisees. Even after killing YaHUsHa, they did not rest. They still went to Pharaoh and Pilate and said, please, we need soldiers to guard the tomb. Let the stone be rolled and let it be sealed, because this man said he's going to resurrect. Let us see how he's going to resurrect. Do you see? I told your enemies will not stop even after you are dead. That is the characteristics of your enemy. All the signs, all the wonders that took place when he was nailed at the stake did not mean anything to them. They didn't want him only dead. They wanted to make sure that he doesn't fulfill his promise to come back to life. Do you see that they still followed him even in death? That's what I'm telling you. Men and your enemies are two different ones. But the men, they all changed. They withdrew. They were no more following the enemies now, because they could see clearly that, wow, this is the Son of Yahweh. Well, not the enemies. They knew. They knew he is the Son of Yahweh, but they didn't care. They just want him dead. Why? Because they feel like he's there to spoil their plans. I hope you're getting it clearly now, the difference between men and your enemies. So now let's go. Just to recap it quickly. And then you say in point number 3, they don't know you or your mission. But because they are jealous of you, they can join forces with your enemies to fight against you, even if you're very good to them. Yes. Men in general, they'll be jealous of you because they don't have the Ruach HaKodesh. So that is the main pushing factor, main thing that make them to join forces against your enemy, to fight against you. If they see an enemy that can show them how to fight against you, they will do it. Then 3, for the enemy's part, it said the purpose and mission of your enemies is to stop you from achieving your mission. They know your mission, they know your goal, and they're out there to stop you at all costs. Even if they die in trying to stop you, they don't mind and they don't care. That's very dangerous. And they are committed to making sure that they stop you and destroy you at all costs. Now, lastly, number 4, I've already mentioned it, but I've not tabulated it in points. They don't know the Torah, so they can't be invested in getting you. They cannot be invested in getting you to try to break the Torah. Yeah. This one I've not mentioned it before. Now, men in general, they don't know the Torah. So they are not invested in getting you to break the Torah. Just like I said, your enemies are invested in making you fail at your mission. And they use several ways to do that. They'll understand what is your belief and practices, and then they start setting traps for you to fall. That's it. For example, they know that you follow the Torah, you're a man and you have a weakness. They'll start sending women to you, different kind of women that you like, to make you to fall, so that they can accuse you before Yahweh, and so that they can be able, their evil and their witchcraft against you can be able to work when you sin against Yahweh. Do you understand? Now, your enemies, if you're living with them, you will see that all that they're trying to do is to get you to break the Torah, one way or the other. They will do things intentionally to you, knowing the Torah, and so that they want to see your reaction, how you're going to react, so that they can be able to accuse you of breaking the Torah before Yahweh and before their demonic kingdom, so that whatever they want to do against you will work. Let me give you an example. There are so many ways you see that YaHUsHa was being, and then you reply to them, you can see that what belongs to Caesar, give to him. What belongs to Yahweh, give to him. You have to give to him. Do you see? They set traps. They knew the Torah very well. And they set traps. They tempted him according to the Torah, so that he would not be Torah complete. That is the major difference between men and your enemies. Look at your what happened after YaHUsHa fasted 40 days and 40 nights. What did he say there? He asked him to bow down to one of the temptation. And said, no, it is written, there's only one person to worship, and that is Yahweh El Shaddai. Look at Peter, one of the people that was following him. I don't call him his disciple, because a disciple is someone that listens to his master and follows the teachings of his master, follows the Torah. Now, what did he say when YaHUsHa was saying that he's going to die, that he has what he has come here for and he's going to be killed? I said, no, don't be killed, because that was Satan speaking. I said, get behind me, Satan, because you do not like the things that belong to Yahweh. You do not like things of Yahweh. That is why you're speaking like that. It's very, very clear. Your enemy, and that's why one of my videos says, what did they call it? Peter was Satan physically that was following him, among those tempting him and among those that betrayed him. Even though the Greeks removed it from the Bible that you're reading. That is why they destroyed the original, the ones they could lay hands on. They didn't lay their hands on all of them. They destroyed the original scriptures so that you cannot know the truth. Yes. So now, in final conclusion, your enemies, you can call them Satan themselves, the physical Satan you see, that is out there to kill, to steal, and to destroy you. And men, you put them in the human category, whereby you forgive them, you give them a benefit of doubt, and then you just continue doing good to them, not your enemies. In the next video, I'm going to speak more about the teachings of YaHUsHa and what he meant by the words he was telling us, not what we have been taught in our churches. Shalom. And may the peace of Yahweh that passes all understanding be with you now and forever.